They drowned my cat while laughing and recording his death. So my older cousins molded the shape of their skulls. 2 teens in my neighborhood kidnapped my lost cat Hops. They then drove him to the nearest river while he was trapped in some cage. Hops was obviously terrified and tried to run on the video. So they each took turns beating and punching him to death while the other one recorded and laughed hysterically. They then chucked the body of my best friend in the river like he was a ball and laughed. Till this day nobody knows the reason why they did this. And prior to the incident I had never interacted with them before. We called the police off course, but since I lived in a town that didn't give a shit about animals, they only got a slap on the wrist. I was 9 years old at the time and they looked like they were around 15 or 16, so it wasn't like I could go beat them up or something either. I was completely powerless and devastated. A few times those same teens came to my house and taunted us, until my granddad scared them off while they ran and laughed. A couple months after the incident and my older cousins Steven and Jamie came by to stay with us for 3 months. During the last days of their stay, those same teens came by our lawn again while I was playing with my little brother. We quickly ran into the house and I told Jamie that they're here. And without hesitation, Jamie grabbed my bat and called Steven, who later grabbed some sort of racket. The teens had their backs turned from what I saw, so my cousins quickly stormed up to them without saying a word and Jamie bashed the first one right in the skull, while Steven tackled the other and repeatedly bashed his face with the racket. Both of the teens were screaming in agony, which only seemed to make my cousins even angrier as they ended up bashing their faces with much more force than before. Jamie then repeatedly stomped on one of the teens' knees and head while Steven repeatedly battered the other until he was red and unconscious. One of them pleaded and cried out for help, with no one else in sight except for one bystander who was too afraid to do anything. Jamie then stomped on the teen's head repeatedly until he was silent.